This is the Fesshole Twitter account. It's a Twitter confession page. You can admit to something from your murky past, and some of them will end up on the Twitter feed here. It's a really incredible read. There's stuff on here that's very, very funny. There are confessions that are very, very sad, but there are also confessions of criminal behavior. People have used this to confess to criminal damage and theft and things like that. Now, the site says on its Twitter profile that you can confess your sins anonymously, and anonymity is obviously going to be very important to people who are admitting things from their past. The problem is that's not always entirely true. This isn't always anonymous, and I'll show you why. Here's how the Fesshole Twitter account works. On the profile here, there's a link that you can submit your confession, and that link leads you to this form here, and you can just type in your confession. This is my confession, and I'm going to press the submit button, and away it goes. And the person who runs the Fesshole Twitter account gets that, and as I say, some of them end up on the Twitter feed. But that form that I just filled out, the technology behind that form is run by Google. So the question is, what information do Google get when I hit the submit button? Well, usefully, I can tell you exactly what they get, because I've got software installed on this laptop that monitors exactly what's sent from this machine out to the internet and back. And I'll show you what that is now. This is it. This is called Burp Suite. And what this does is it captures everything my laptop sends off, so I can replay it again afterwards in slow motion. So up at the top here, yep, that's me. I visited the Fesshole Anonymous Confession page. But down here is the important bit. That was the moment when I hit the submit button. And this software has recorded exactly what my computer sent out to the internet when I did that. And sure enough, I'm sending a message to docs.google.com. So that's a Google computer server that I'm sending this message to. And there it is. Yep, that's the text of my confession. This is my confession. And here are my Google cookies. Now, on this computer, I am logged in to my Google account. And when you log into your Google account, Google puts a cookie on your machine. And this is what that looks like. Apologies if this is old news to you and you already know about this, but that's what a cookie looks like. It's a seemingly random set of letters and numbers. That's not random at all. That is a unique set of letters and numbers that's used to identify just me. And that Google uses to link to my Google account. So as I use this computer to go around the internet and to look at web pages, Google looks for that cookie and says, Jeff is on this web page, and that links to this Google account, Jeff@gmail or whatever my Google account is. So, long story short, if you use this form, a Google form, to submit your confession to Fesshole, Google gets a copy of the text of your confession, the unique identifier that Google uses for you, that links to your Google account, and that can potentially be used to link to your real world identity, to the real you. Now, as you can imagine, privacy campaigners have some issues with this. Firstly, law enforcement. If the police, for example, go to Google with a warrant and Google complies, can the police get access to the confessions that have been given to Google and stored potentially under your Google account? The other issue is advertising. Google lives off advertising. It accumulates information about us. Advertisers then pay Google to use that information so they can get targeted adverts in front of us. Well, now that Google's potentially got our confessions, can those confessions be used to narrow down the adverts to us? So if you confess to, I don't know, eating 10 chocolate bars a day, could an advertiser advertise sugary goods at you? If you confess to infidelity, are you then going to start seeing adverts for divorce lawyers? These are some of the issues privacy campaigners have brought up. Now, I did get in touch with the person who runs the Fesshole Twitter account. I asked if they wanted to make a comment on the story. They didn't, but they have subsequently introduced a privacy policy which makes this stuff a little bit clearer. I also, of course, asked Google for a comment, but 24 hours later when this video was made, they hadn't got back to me. But this is just one of the ways this kind of technology can be used to track what you do as you move around the internet and to store that information. If you're tempted to have a look at the Fesshole page on Twitter, it's an incredible read. But if you're thinking about submitting a confession through this page, just have a think about what you're admitting to and how that information can be used by people storing it in future.